6 months ago, my sister had her wedding, and around the time the priest says, "Speak now or forever hold your peace," her ex comes out of nowhere and crashes the wedding. This is the type of crap that happens in movies. I thought it was some sort of prank or something that I was unaware. I was in complete shock this was happening. Me and most of the crowd boo him, and he professes his love for her, saying he misses her and stuff. She says she feels the same, and she goes over and hugs him. People at the wedding are absolutely pissed, because they paid for the wedding, and they just saw the groom, their family and friend, get screwed over for some worthless sack of crap, who's unemployed and a peahead, and living on welfare and food stamps. Groom was a decorated war hero with a steady income. I told my sister she's the dumbest person I've ever met in my entire life, and she tells me I just wouldn't understand true love, and that she realized he was her soulmate. Well, turns out he wasn't her soulmate. He cheated on her, got some other girl pregnant, and kicked her out of the apartment. She's begging the groom for forgiveness, and he told her to duck off. My sister is asking me for help and a place to stay. I said tough luck, and she's begging me, giving me excuses, and I told her this is her own fault of being such an idiot. Family is giving me a hard time for not helping my sister out, and they are saying I'm not a supportive brother. But duck that. I knew the groom. We were close friends, and he was a great man, and what my sister did was awful to him. My sister is a crappy person, and she made a very stupid and crappy decision, and now she needs to reap what she sowed. I have no obligation to let her live with me, and I want nothing to do with this drama. My family needs to get over themselves if they're going to side with her on this. Most of my family won't talk to me. Not the a-hole. She is, along with her sleazy ex. Those feelings didn't miraculously reappear, so maybe she could have been a grown-up and ended it before the wedding where she chose to humiliate a guy she supposedly loved. It sounds like she didn't actually love your friend, so that marriage might not have worked out either in the long run. It might have ended up in a divorce with the children going from one home to another for custody. Anyways, she can't love someone or be in a relationship or marriage with them just because you want her to. I don't know why you want to dictate who she's with. If your family wants to take her in, then they should. Not the a-hole. She knew exactly what choices she was making, and she made them anyway. There's no reason for you to let her crash your life and give you headaches with her special brand of idiocy. Living with someone who makes decisions the way she does would not be smart. It's fortunate for the groom that she bailed before they made it legal. He didn't get left at the altar. He received a last-minute stay of execution. So basically what happened was that me, 19 female, and my boyfriend had a really nice evening planned. We planned to go to an amusement park and after that have a romantic dinner. The problem came when my stepsister, 17 female, wanted to tag along. I simply told her no, she cannot. She still insisted and I refused. She just went quiet. Some background info about my stepsister. She is absolutely obsessed with my boyfriend. She always wants to hang out with him. Whenever he comes over, she just has to be there, so me and my boyfriend never have alone time at our house. So we go to his place or we go out. Whenever my boyfriend brings me flowers, she throws a tantrum and says she wants flowers too, and demands that my boyfriend get her flowers too. I just ignore her. She's tried texting my boyfriend, but he's just ignored her texts. So my boyfriend told me he's going to pick me up at 6 p.m., and I told my mom my boyfriend is picking me up at 6 p.m., and my sister was there hearing all of it. I got ready, and my boyfriend texted me that he was outside, and also said that he didn't know we were bringing my sister, and I was instantly confused. I went outside to see my stepsister in the car and sitting on the front seat. I was so mad. I went to the car and asked her what she was doing, and she acted all innocent and said that, "I thought you wanted me to come along with both of you." I wasn't really in the mood to argue, so I told her that Mom was calling her and that we would wait for her. So she went back inside. I got in the front seat and told my boyfriend to drive off before she came back outside, and told him she lied and that I had said no such thing. We drive off, and 5 minutes later she calls me and starts cussing at me for ditching her like that and driving off. I told her she wasn't included in the first place, and so I don't regret what I did. Minutes later I got a message from my stepdad for treating his daughter like a piece of crap. My mom said I could have handled this more maturely instead of driving off and embarrassing her like that. I think there would have been no way she would have backed off. My boyfriend is on my side. It's been a week, and my stepsister and her dad have been acting all super cold towards me, and they demand I apologize to my sister. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. If your parents aren't going to do anything to help the situation, then I don't really think they should have much input into what you do to help the situation. Not the a-hole. That's some stalker-type level of obsessed. She even sat in the front seat. She has zero regard for your relationship, and I would absolutely not apologize until she can accept terms of boundaries. Not the a-hole. I would ask your mom, in front of your stepdad, why does her husband stick up for his daughter, and she doesn't stick up for you? Stepsister asked you many times to come, and you told her no repeatedly. Rather than respect your answer, she invited herself in your boyfriend's car, trying to force your hand. Then stepsister brings her father into it, and is now treating you badly while your mom tries to say you handled it poorly, rather than reminding your stepsister that you told her no many, many times, and that it is unfair for your stepfather to immediately take sides when he doesn't know the facts of the situation. I would also ask why your stepsister is allowed to push herself onto your boyfriend, pitch a fit when you get flowers because she wanted them from him, and repeatedly text your boyfriend without your stepfather or mother correcting her obsessive, unwanted, and unwarranted behavior. Your stepfather and mother needs to set boundaries with your stepsister, which include quit trying to become the object of your boyfriend's affection, since we all know that's what she is trying to do. She is manipulative, untrustworthy, and disrespectful of you both and your relationship. Just as bad, she has played innocent to try to force your hand by not being forthcoming with all information, knowing your stepdad will jump in and try to save the day. Your mother literally needs to do her job and step in and be firm in what is acceptable behavior and what is not, even if that means schooling her own husband. Last year, I was contacted by a daughter of my dad's we didn't know about, who wanted to get to know her father's side. Unfortunately, our dad passed away back in 2020, but we did the tests, and it turned out she was our sister. I introduced her to the family, and she fit in. We used to have family coffee dates, and I'm, or at least used to be, the godmother to my niece. Our conflict came about in early January, when I was accompanying her to one of her dress fittings, and she mentioned that her now husband and her chose Valentine's Day as the wedding date because it was exactly a year after they met, and that they got engaged after 6 months. I thought and still think they were rushing, so I asked her if she wasn't worried about that aspect. She asked what there was to be worried about, and I said that they could not fully know each other or been through enough to test their commitment. So what if she didn't like how he handles those situations? She got upset, and this turned into a very unnecessary argument, which ended with her saying I was uninvited to the wedding. All right, fine. I called her a couple days later to ask if she really meant it, and she said she did, unless I stopped wishing evil to her marriage by disagreeing with the pace of things. I said I can accept it and support her, but I can't lie and say I'm still not concerned, so I remained uninvited. Maybe like a week before the wedding, or late January, my grandmother called me and the wedding came up in conversation. I told her that I wasn't coming anymore and why, and my grandmother got quite upset over it. At the end of her rant about my sister being ungrateful, she claimed that she was no longer going to the wedding either, out of solidarity. I told her I appreciated her support, but that she didn't have to do that just because we had a disagreement, that we'd solve ourselves. She said okay, and the call ended shortly after. Now, my grandmother is like the matriarch of our family, where pretty much everyone follows her suit. So, long story short, out of the 23 family members who were supposed to be there, only 2 went, and the rest excused themselves, or just didn't pitch. My brother, one of the 2, said she was obviously truly hurt by this, and he blames me because I didn't stop them since I knew what they were doing. I only knew what Grandma said on the phone, and I advised her against it. I don't condone what they did, but they're adults, especially Grandma, yet now I'm being blamed for everything. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You told Grandma she should go, and she's an adult who can make her own decisions, including ignoring you. As for the rest, I had a teacher once point out that people are like sheep. The herd follows those that break off, and when the matriarch breaks off, you better believe the rest follow. That's not on you, but on those people who followed. Not the a-hole. From someone who was on their 3rd marriage, and the second one was a disaster. Moved too quickly. Guy was an a-hole to me and my kids later. My brother said he had misgivings, but didn't want to say anything. Always say something. You didn't force your family to do anything, so you are not responsible. They are adults who make their own decisions. Yes, the a-hole. You crap on her relationship at her wedding dress fitting. Your entire family is gross. Way to accept someone into the family. Yes, the a-hole. It's okay to lightly bring up your concern over the length of the relationship once. It shouldn't have been possible to turn it into a very unnecessary argument, because you didn't have an argument. You had a single expression of concern. Even saying that, the dress fitting is horrendously bad timing, and frankly, if you weren't close enough to have been aware of the timing prior to that moment, you really weren't close enough to have brought up the issue at all. And then you told your grandmother that you appreciated her support, after she just called your sister ungrateful. Are you kidding me? You should have immediately argued with your grandmother about labeling your sister ungrateful. She felt that you didn't support her marriage. Why on earth should she have been grateful to you? And why should she have been grateful to your family for accepting her for something your father did wrong? You then should have told your grandmother in no uncertain terms that you did not need support because you weren't experiencing anything difficult. You had concerns about your sister, but she was the only one who needed support in that moment. By allowing your grandmother to frame it as a choice between you two, you guaranteed she wouldn't go, and that she would spread her message to others. Your sister was abandoned by her father, And now, thanks to you, by our father's family. Good job. Been dating Henry for 4 years. Got together a year after him and his ex, Kim, split up. They dated for 10 years. I know nothing about Kim. Henry never mentions her unless I ask, which I think I've only done once. From what I know, she initiated the breakup, but it was mostly mutual. Kim was a bridesmaid in the wedding. So, the story. Still speedrunning. Ceremony starts. Henry's visibly uncomfortable as Kim walks down the aisle. Reception starts. He looks even more uncomfy as the bridal party is introduced. Henry starts asking our table if anyone brought booze. One guy did. They excused themselves to take shots somewhere at the venue. After dinner, the bar opens. No hard liquor, so Henry's inhaling beer. He uses alcohol as a crutch in social situations, and it takes a while for him to get a buzz, so nothing unusual, really. An hour in, Henry and his friends step outside to smoke. 15 minutes later, the group comes back inside, without Henry. I ask, is Henry still outside? And am met with bloated silence, then stammering, not sure. You could go out and check. So that's what I did. He is outside, with just Kim. I walk up, introduce myself, exchange pleasantries, etc. Kim excuses herself and heads back inside. Henry starts to give me the whole, I know this looks bad, but speech. Kim just wanted to catch up. He didn't know what to do. I tell him I'm not going to start drama at a wedding. Let's just go back inside. But I don't want to see that happen again. He apologizes as we walk back. We have a great hour together on the dance floor. He leaves to grab another drink at the bar and disappears again. Again, I ask Henry's friends if they know his whereabouts. Same silence, stammering. Henry's old BFF pulls me aside and says, "Hey, I don't want to say this in front of everyone because I don't want it to embarrass you, but he's outside with Kim." Cool. I know his phone is in his pocket, so I call him. Ignored. Called 5 times in a row. Ignored. I peek outside and see them together, sitting way too close for my comfort. This time, I don't interrupt. Just went back to the reception. I congratulated the bride and groom, told everyone I'm heading out, but it was great to see you all again. Got an Uber back to our hotel. Henry shows up at our room about 45 minutes later and is pissed. Said he was so worried when he couldn't find me, and I had no reason to ditch him like that. So I said, should have answered your phone, I guess. I refused to hash things out with him further. We're both drunk. It's not the time for that. The drive home was silent. We haven't seen each other since the wedding, last weekend, for a myriad of reasons. So we haven't talked about it yet. We will tomorrow. Am I the a-hole? I thought leaving was the right thing to do at the time, but now I feel like I went absolutely nuclear. Not the a-hole. It made you uncomfortable and he did it again. In fact, you're so not the a-hole because you left instead of making a scene. Good luck when y'all chat. Chat, not the a-hole. OP, the talk should be about getting things from his place. Screw a chat. His friends know. Kim knows. Almost everyone knows. Stick with self-respect and dignity. Dump his butt before he starts to think you will be a doormat. Not the a-hole. You did everything right. You did not make a scene, did not argue with him at someone else's wedding, and you said bye to the bride and groom before leaving. Ditch the guy. He clearly has some things to work out. It is not okay to ditch your girl at an event that is your friend's, all while catching up with a very serious ex-girlfriend. Not the a-hole. In fact, you handled it beautifully. Henry, on the other hand, has some nerve playing the indignant victim here. Even if there is or was nothing going on, you told him how uncomfortable his spending one-on-one time with Kim was making you, only to have him turn around and do it again. Suffice it to say, your feelings are not a priority for him. Sorry guys, the update was deleted.